I just left my holiday in Melbourne a day early because I didn't factor in my autistic needs. Now, you might want to grab a cup of tea because I'm going to tell you exactly what I did and what I should have done. And hopefully you can learn from some of my mistakes because I love Melbourne and I love shopping, and leaving a holiday early felt like a bit of a failure. Now, you're going to have to bear with me because this is probably going to be a little bit hectic. I am going to attempt to do two things at once, something that I am generally incapable of. I am a very, very hyper-focused kind of autistic person. I'm not actually sure if I have ADHD or not yet, but we're working on that. That's a different story. But what I do know is that I function best when I'm doing very, very specific things, and I only am doing that. However, there are too many things to achieve today. I've woken up with a mild level of anxiety where I feel like I have to achieve absolutely everything right now. And so I'm just going to kind of go with that anxious energy and see what happens. However, that does mean that I am going to be tidying up my house today, which is going to be extra difficult because I have random furniture in it. So I don't just have my normal, I've just come home from holidays, unpacking to do. I also have furniture everywhere because my front room is about to get a new carpet. So this is like my entranceway with a couch and a table. And this is the front room. So the carpet's being laid tomorrow. So the place is a shambles. I am trying really, really hard not to think about any of that. Weird place for a bookshelf. But I'm just going to focus on unpacking. So that's job number one. Job number two will be like tidying up, making some semblance of order because I don't have the most ordered house, and I'm just going to see what I can get through today because panic. Anyway, back to the story. So why did I have to leave Melbourne early? Let me just start by saying that I'm very familiar with Melbourne. I have been there almost annually since I was 13, and I love it. I absolutely love Melbourne. I love the shopping there, not because I'm like a big shopper. I own almost everything that I need, but because I love op shopping. I think that it's a great way to live sustainably and affordably, and it just brings me joy seeing, that's the wrong coat hanger, seeing what kind of magic that I can come up with and what I can find. And this trip wasn't particularly just about that, but that was kind of the end of it where it all went to pot, essentially, right? So the trip was for my birthday. The plan was to go to Melbourne and spend some time with some of my friends that I don't get to see very often, especially when they live like out of the city and it's difficult to access them because Adam and I were driving. So it was fantastic. So good. We took our car fully loaded with all of the stuff and we went to celebrate my birthday. Now, the first thing was that we went to stay with my friend Moria, who lives in Geelong. So I've known her since I was like 12. She is lovely. First time I've ever stayed at her house though. And we went to visit her. We went to a beautiful French bakery. We played games in the evening. And the whole thing was just really casual. There were no plans, which I was okay with. I was prepared for a holiday of no plans. Sounds fine, right? Like, it's difficult when you're autistic to not have a plan, but when I know there's no plan, it was okay. Now, this meant though that people kept asking my opinion for things. Where do you want to eat? What do you want to do? I don't know. I was a little bit overwhelmed. I couldn't really think about like what to do and stuff because that was on the spot and there were too many other stimuli going on. So that was potentially my first mistake was, yes, not having a plan is fine, but not having that much of a plan might have needed to be shifted a little bit. But anyway, it was fine. I did art for like the first time ever, and that was super exciting. And then we moved on to my other friends. So my other friend lived like over an hour out of Melbourne, the other direction. So the whole trip took forever. Like it took 4 hours to get from Moria's to Pedro's. We did have to stop at the French bakery again because I fell in love with the food there. And we also did stop at a Moria for me to get my coat fixed. But ultimately, it was like a huge day. So we arrive at my friend Pedro's. I've known him since I was 11. He is absolutely insane, just like me, and we get along like oxygen and fire. It is actually dangerous, and there should be some kind of like, I don't know, warning label when the two of us are together. But went to his house, super cool, right? Best friend, completely unmasked, get to be my total, absolute insane self. Shouldn't be a problem, right? But it was, because I was having too much fun. This one doesn't get hung up. We had a lovely stay with Pedro. I got to meet his child, which was actually fine. I was expecting that to be more of a sensory issue because children cry and scream and smell and stuff, but his poor little guy was sick, so he didn't have a lot of fight in him, which is so awful, but it meant it was really accessible for me to be around this child without getting overstimulated. So that whole trip or section of the trip was also fine, right? I was with one of my best friends and we were having a great time. One of the days that we're at Pedro's, he goes to work, which is great because near his work are 2 op shops. So I go to one of the op shops with Adam and it's amazing. I try on like 6 million different things and it's great. Nothing fits. Nothing is the right size. It's either too big, too small, or the one thing that was any good, I think, was sensory. Like the texture of the fabric wasn't any good. So that was a bit disappointing. We go to the other 2 op shops around where he is and they're fun, they're nice, but you know, there's nothing that exciting. It's the suburbs in Melbourne. It's a lot less exciting than like Fitzroy or Brunswick or the city centre, or maybe Toorak. Toorak would be cool. I've never been to an op shop in Toorak. Anyway, the point is we have a good time at Pedro's and I do a little bit of op shopping and I have a win. I buy a really cool handbag. Like none of the clothes fit, but at least I got a really cool handbag. Okay, so next up is going for the main event of our trip in Melbourne. This is where we went to an Airbnb, which was very cool. We met with our friends from Canberra, Brisbane, and Melbourne, and a bunch of us stayed there. We played games on the Friday night, and then on the Saturday, we all dressed up in clothing that kind of resembled the Met Gala style. So it was Hollywood fashion through the ages. So it was anything inspired from any film or movie or anything that they loved, but then glam. So one of my friends came as like a evening wear version of Princess Leia. I was wearing a dress that was inspired by the picnic dress from Gone with the Wind, etc. Like it was really, really cool. And 2 of my friends even had their outfits matching with little spikes on their shoulders and on their arms of their clothes. It was very cool. We got a limo. Hello. Oh my God, so good. We went around the limo, we took photos, and then we went for the best dinner you have ever had in your life. It lasted 5 hours. It was a banquet at Flower Drum, which is my favorite restaurant in the entire world. The entire world, that is my favorite restaurant. And it was insanely good. But the problem was I ate too much. And all of this has to hang up. I hate it when it has to hang up because I can't just like roll it and put it away. And this is new and I don't know where to put it. Ooh, jeans. Oh no, they hang up too. Okay, I'm just going to finish telling you the story and then I'm going to do this because I can't do that. Oh, I forgot to put this on Adam's outfit. These are safety pins. I was looking for these everywhere. Anyway, okay, so what happened? Oh, I ate too much and I felt really sick. It was really sad. I was in so much pain, so much pain. We went out after, but we didn't even get to go out for long and I didn't get to go dancing. And it was the only time in like my entire life I'll be able to pull that card of I want to go dancing. And all my friends would have gone. And I didn't because I was in too much pain. That was so sad. Anyway, it was fine. We still had the best night ever and it wasn't ruined because I couldn't go dancing. It was just really unlike me. I do not pull the pin. I do not. Like even as a child, the whole stay up till midnight for midnight snacks. I made it to midnight. Like I am that person. Anyway, let me put this away. I'll be back. I came up with an idea. Rather than like getting each piece of item of clothing and then taking it to my wardrobe, I'm going to hang everything that needs to be hung here and then take the whole lot to my wardrobe like I did with my laundry. You can't see my head anymore. Better? Better? Head, yay. Are you going to fall over? Don't fall over. You're still kind of wonky. That's okay, so am I. All right, so the event was absolutely incredible. All of my friends were absolutely incredible. My cousin joined us there and her husband, who were really great. They looked stunning. The whole thing was just absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. I do not have the correct hanger for my jeans. Do I hang my jeans even? I think I do, but none of these hangers are correct. Okay. Okay. Where am I? Yes. Okay. So the weekend is over. We've had our magnificent evening. We've all got dressed up. We've all eaten too much food. Then what? The next day we go back to Pedro's and spend the evening there. It's really relaxed, really chill, and I get to spend heaps of time with the baby, which is absolutely fantastic because he's feeling a little bit better. Following day, we head to my cousin Megan's. Now, her house is beautiful and they are very like chill, peaceful, whatever you need kind of people when it comes to hosting, which is great. And I was like, okay, let's go to her house, but let's go via some consignment stores because I would like to look at some beautiful clothing that maybe I'll be able to afford. So Adam and I go on a bit of an adventure, and the amount of mental preparation it took me to find these consignment stores is not something I care to actually admit. It was absolutely horrific. I looked at so many things. I pretty much use Google Maps for everything, and like I just search and then I work out like a bit of a plan or route. Everything was closed. What is it with Melbourne? Now, Monday I can understand things being closed because you're open on the weekend. You need one day off, right? Monday makes sense. Although people who stay over the weekend and stay longer, it doesn't make sense because that's what we were doing. But you know, I respect something being closed Monday. Maybe Tuesday if it's like a hospitality thing. But Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, for the amount of like op shop consignment stores that I was hoping to go to, is not okay. It is just insane. So many of the places that I wanted to go were going to be closed. And it was Monday morning. So then I had to remap my route. One of those. And create a whole new plan for the places that were actually open. Monday morning comes, we wake up stupidly early. And by stupidly early, I mean like it was 7 o'clock, but I went to bed really late because I was talking to Pedro all night because I was having fun. And these go away. We go to the first shop and it's closed. It's closed with a sign on the door. Now, I don't know how updating Google works, but if you're going to close your business, please tell Google because I drove an hour and a half to go to that shop. Then I was like, okay, well, I better check on the other places that I planned because I don't want this happening. I call the next place. Guess what? They were burglarized and they're closed. What? So this plan that I spent forever creating of all the little places that I meant to go to, completely gone to the wind, just useless. Out of the 4-5 places that we planned on going to that morning, we ended up at 2. Now, these 2 were lovely and great, and I really, really enjoyed going to them. It was fun. But I kind of felt weird. I felt uncomfortable in myself. I felt self-conscious, which is not something that I'm really familiar with. Self-conscious is not really an emotion that I experience very often unless, you know, I've literally got a coffee down my shirt, but then I wouldn't even mind because accidents happen. So it was a very weird feeling to be experiencing. And I started overthinking. And when I say overthinking, I mean end of the earth overthinking. Not only was I worried about literally everything in my entire life that shouldn't even need to be worried about because my life is relatively fine, I was also worried about the fact that I was worried and about the fact that I wasn't having the best time ever. And so therefore, obviously I was completely broken and could no longer enjoy things. And the only thing that gave my life meaning was helping, creating, building, those types of things. And any form of entertainment or worldly possessions were completely meaningless because they brought actually no joy into my life. So therefore, what is the point of going to a play or going for a nice dinner or wearing nice clothes if it actually didn't resonate into me? Because it wasn't really the meaning of life, which is ridiculous because we can still have a good time while we're here. So this feeling kind of continues for a little while. But I arrived at my cousin's house and was very excited to see her distracted by her babies. It was a weekend full of babies. And was like, nah, this is fine. We had a lovely evening together. We did lots of nice things. Not a problem. The next day, we go for coffee. I get to walk to coffee and lunch, breakfast. It was so cool. I love living in a walkable place. Oh my God. Like, words cannot describe the mental stress it takes to just get in the car and go somewhere. But to walk somewhere, not an effort. Don't understand why. Does anyone else have that like barrier to entry? And I find getting in a car is a huge barrier to entry. Anyway, my cousin, knowing me, was like, let's go look at some op shops because I know that that makes you happy. She didn't say that, but she meant that. And we have a look around and I just feel icky. It feels wrong. They're organized all funny. I don't like it. Now she goes home, does some other things. She's with the kidlets and that, and Adam and I stay out and look at more op shops. The stress of these op shops, the first few are okay because they're organized by size. And I'm completely cool with that because I would just go through the rack looking at the different things, being like, this is what is appropriate for me. And then I get to these bougie consignment stores that are organized by color. I know that it looks pretty, but why on earth would I care if something is orange if it is 7 sizes too big or small for me? It was exhausting and I was just getting more overstimulated and more upset and more frustrated and then more upset that I was upset because I love op shopping and I never get to go to Melbourne anymore and it's so good and it's so much fun, and if I can't go op shopping, what can I do? And then I ended up crying in a consignment store in Melbourne. Oh, also, part of the reason that I was crying, guess what? Guess why? And like when I say crying, I mean like I just had like a little whimper. Like it wasn't like a massive breakdown. I was just being pathetic. I was really thirsty. Yep. The toddler in me was thirsty and hungry. And usually I would have a water bottle with me, right? Because I know that I get thirsty. And I know that when I get thirsty, I'm thirsty right then and you need to fix it right now. So I was like, yeah, cool. I need to go get a drink, but could I find a drink anywhere? No, nowhere. I don't think it matters how rich you are or how rich I ever will be. I will always still carry a water bottle on me and snacks because in my head, I'm like, oh, wealthy people can take these nice handbags places because they can just go into any service station anywhere or anything and buy that stupid $5 bottle of water. Not that I would ever buy water, but you get the point, right? But no, sometimes it's not accessible and it's really frustrating. And for somebody like me who needs that, has that need right then and cannot necessarily wait like a toddler, it was really awful. So Adam gave me a big hug and was like, look, there was a cute little cafe back there that you wanted to go to but couldn't go to because they were closing soon. Let's just go back there. I know we can't have lunch there, but we can get the cake that you looked at and you liked, and we can get you a drink. And I'm like, okay, great, let's go. But I'm going to be stressed because they're going to want us to leave at 4 o'clock when they close, and it's currently 3:30. He's like, don't worry about it. That's fine. Let's just go grab the cake. Won't take you long to drink some water and eat a piece of cake. Cool. We went into this cafe. I'm not sure if cafe is the right word. It's a beautiful, beautiful place I always visit when I'm in Fitzroy. And they serve like amazing lunches. Amazing, amazing lunches. And we went and they were so, so good. They served me like they had all the time in the world. I ordered a glass of Prosecco, and at 5 to 4, like 5 minutes before they were closing, they even asked me, do I want another one? Do you know how many places kick you out of places now? And what I think is, if you're not going to pay your staff until after the closing time, change your closing time, because then they do get resentful and they close the tills early. Otherwise, they're staying back unpaid after hours. That's not okay. I don't know what the pay system of this place is like, but it was really, really good to feel so comfortable being there right up until they closed and not feel rushed. Like, they were packing up in the corner and putting the chairs up, but I didn't feel rushed, and it just settled me completely. So we went home, and on the drive home, Adam was speaking about how he was a bit sick. He wasn't being very good company, as in, like, he wasn't being bad company. He was doing his absolute best, but he wasn't very enthusiastic because he got this cold. I missed some. I put some clothes on this side, I put some clothes on this side, and now I have to hang more things up. So all of this led to me feeling pretty rotten. I was very disappointed in myself. The day had not been fun. I'd enjoyed spending time with my cousin Megan, but otherwise I just felt like I'd wasted Melbourne, which is silly because I'd had an incredible time. My time with Moria was amazing and it was relaxed and chill. My time with Pedro was fantastic because, like I said before, we're like fire and oxygen. It's just like when we're together. My weekend with my friends was so good. Why was I feeling so ungrateful because I couldn't go op shopping? Like, who the hell cares? It's not a big deal. Except for, like, it's an entire part of my identity, and I know where every single piece of item of clothing I have is from because they're all from op shops, and I can tell you where they are and how much they cost. But seriously, it's like not a big deal. I've had a good time. Just go home. But no, I felt like a failure, but I decided to do it anyway because I knew that I was being stupid, and it didn't matter that I was going home early, and it wasn't a failing. It was me realizing that I needed to manage my energy, and I was getting tired. I was exhausted. And even though it hadn't been a full-on holiday, it hadn't been a whirlwind tour like Europe, we hadn't gone and seen a lot of stuff and done a lot of things, I realized I had not been alone in like 10 days. When I had been staying at these people's houses, I'd been staying up late with them and talking, as you want to because you're friends. And then I'd been doing activities and things all day. So there was no time for me to just be me, be alone and be quiet. And that is what I realized I was missing. And I spoke to Adam about it, and I said, how on earth did I do Europe? We were gone for months and I was okay. And he reminded me that we did stay with friends, but we had breaks in between where it was just us, and I could come home from our big day at the Louvre or whatever and just be. That is what I learned about myself and traveling, that you can do everything, you can do it all, you can be it all, but you need to map it appropriately. So I know this has been completely chaotic, and I hope you're not dizzy. I hope you enjoyed this very long-winded story and tangent, and you haven't got too distracted with me putting my clothes away. I thought I'd get more done, but I kind of just kept on rolling with this conversation. But I hope it helps. I really, truly hope that somebody watches this out there and goes, oh my God, that makes perfect sense, and is able to manage their trip or their adventure more. And remember that it is okay to honor your needs. It is completely okay to do what you need to do for you. So don't forget that. Well, I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, please like it, comment something nice, and subscribe for the next one.